Get out of my house already. A good-for-nothing slowpoke like you can freeze out in the garden.
It's freezing out here. Let me in.
However, the next morning, Haley, the wife of the eldest son, was the one found in the garden, cold to the touch and shivering. My name is Julia, a widow in my 60s. My husband passed away from an illness a few years ago. Now, I live with my eldest son, Kevin, his wife Haley, and their son, Jason. The sudden passing of my husband led to this unplanned living situation, but I thought we had managed to maintain a good distance without interfering too much with each other. Thinking that living together full-time would be suffocating, we went for a major renovation to ensure as much privacy as possible. Haley is a sociable woman with a radiant personality and has a wide circle of friends, so she goes out quite often. The fact that we did not see each other much might have been for the best for both of us. My grandson, Jason, is in the 4th year of elementary school. On days when Haley is out, I am sometimes the one who takes care of him. I love him to pieces. Kevin is busy with work and often has night shifts, so our life patterns don't always match, and I didn't talk to him much. Kevin and Haley seemed to get along without much arguments, and they would go out together, so their marriage looked fine in my eyes. Haley has many friends and would often host house parties. She's still in touch with friends from Jason's preschool years and gets along well with them. Once a week, on Friday nights, her friends would come over for a party, but these parties always troubled me. The reason is they start in the evening and go on drinking and making noise into the next day. Sometimes the husbands of such friends would also come over and end up getting drunk and passing out at our place. It didn't matter if Jason was tired or hungry. They didn't seem to care at all, so he would often come to my room feeling bored. There was a time when a drunk friend slipped, fell, and ended up soaked in her own blood from shards of broken glass, and we had to call 911. Another time, a fight between a couple of Haley's friends heated up to the point where we almost had to get the police involved. Every time such incidents would happen, I was the one to comfort Jason, who would be anxious and scared, and apologize to the neighbors the next day for the noise and commotion. Despite this, Haley never considered to stop these gatherings and looked forward to them every week. I thought about discussing it with Kevin, but he works night shifts on Fridays and has never witnessed these events, so I hesitated to talk about it since it felt like I was snitching on her. I did bring it up once with Haley, feeling sorry for Jason, suggesting, "Don't you think you're all partying a bit too much? I don't want to make any more 911 calls. It's not good for Jason's upbringing. How about I take care of Jason on Fridays, and you all can go out to a bar for a few drinks? Am I not allowed to have fun? Do you not realize how much stress living with the mill put on the wife? Maybe you don't understand because you're the mill in this household. My friends have always come here, and now it's impossible to tell them we can't meet here anymore. Plus, it would cost extra money to go out. You don't understand." She was fuming, and the conversation went nowhere. Then, one Friday, Jason came home from school looking a bit down. I took his temperature since he said he felt unwell, and it turns out he had a fever of 101 degrees.
Of all days, you get sick on a Friday. The guests will be arriving soon, so go to the bedroom and get some sleep.
I wanted to say, maybe call it off just for today, but I held back. Instead, I offered, "I'll look after Jason today then. That should make things easier for you, right?" But I must have sounded sarcastic as she declined. "It's okay. There's no need for you to worry. It's not going to be that much of a fuss. Really, why does it always fall on the mother when a child gets sick?" I hadn't intended to blame Haley, but there was no helping her. I whispered to Jason, "If you're feeling unwell, come to Grandma's room, okay? I plan to stay up late tonight because there's a show I want to watch." Then he said with a smile, "Yeah, thank you. I'm okay," which relieved me a bit. But still, they threw a huge party that day as well. The noise reached all the way to my room. As I was worrying about Jason, who was feeling unwell, I heard a soft knock on my door. Rushing to open it, I found Jason standing there.
"Grandma, can I sleep here tonight? My head hurts and I can't sleep. Everyone's voices are so loud, and covering my ears doesn't help," he said, crying.
I hurried him inside and gave him a drink, which he gulped down as if he was very thirsty. His hands felt hot, so I took his temperature, and it had risen to 102 degrees Fahrenheit. I felt a rush of anger for the first time in a while. However, I thought it was more important to take care of Jason than to go confront Haley, so I held back. The next morning, Jason's fever had still not gone down, and he looked just as unwell. Since most hospitals here are only open in the morning on Saturdays, I suggested to Haley, it seems like Jason is feeling worse, so I think we should take him to the doctor's this morning, but she wouldn't get up, probably because she had been drinking until late the previous night. He'll get better eventually. You're okay, aren't you, Jason? She said in a sleepy voice without even lifting her face from the bed. Yeah, I'm okay, Jason answered, but he clearly looked ill. Jason has had asthma since he was a toddler, so when he catches a cold or something, he is prone to asthma attacks. As I worried that he would have an attack, sure enough, he began breathing heavily. Haley, Jason is having an asthma attack. Where's his medication? I asked, but Haley was sound asleep and did not respond. I'm taking him to the, okay. I repeated this several times before taking him to the hospital. Fortunately, he didn't need to be hospitalized and was able to come home after receiving inhalation therapy and medication in the treatment room. Jason's condition improved significantly, which was a relief. However, when Haley woke up in the evening, she exploded at me. Why didn't you ask for my permission? The medication was right here. How much did the emergency visit cost? It was Saturday. I can't believe this. I checked several times. You were the one who drank too much and couldn't wake up, Haley. Can't you skip a party at least when Jason is feeling sick? He seemed to be in severe pain. A child's fever is common and it's already gone down, so it was nothing serious, right? Asthma attacks happen often, don't they? Don't spoil him irresponsibly just because he's your grandson. I thought I should talk to Kevin about what happened, so I told him about it, but he said, Jason turned out fine, right? There's no need to worry about a child's cold. Haley is under a lot of stress from living together, so cut her some slack. We're living together, so if you don't step back a bit, things might turn sour. Him bringing up the stress of living together with me left me speechless. In the middle of December, Kevin injured himself at work. Though his life was not in danger, he had to undergo surgery and stay in the hospital for about a week. Kevin would spend the holidays in the hospital. One day, Haley said to me, I'm thinking of spending this New Year's holiday at my parents' house for the first time in a while. Our holidays were usually spent quietly at home, cleaning the house and eating dishes like turkey and casserole, and the only outing was a meal with Kevin's sister Anne's family, who live in the same city. I had heard that Haley had been estranged from her parents, so I was surprised by her sudden decision, but if Haley could refresh herself at her parents' house, that would be great for me too. And spending time with loving relatives would also be wonderful for Jason. That's nice. Take some rest and enjoy yourself. You're taking Jason with you, aren't you? Your parents must be looking forward to it. Yeah, right? I'll bring him along. Could I ask you to look after Kevin's hospital matters in the meantime? Of course, that's fine with me. It seemed I would be spending quiet holidays alone while visiting my son in the hospital sometimes. When I told Anne about it, she said, if you're going to spend the holidays alone too, why don't you come over to our place this year? So, I decided to do just that. Both Haley and I decided to leave on the 23rd. That day, I was sweating all over, deep cleaning the house. Maybe because I've gotten older, cleaning has become a dreadful task, and the procrastination had finally caught up with me. Since Haley had been out shopping since the morning, I had to finish as much of the cleaning as possible by myself. When Haley returned from shopping, she suddenly started checking the time and became restless. Julia, what time are you planning to leave the house? Aren't you finished yet? I haven't decided what time to leave. Maybe I'll finish up after these last bits. What about you guys? When do you plan to leave? If you're leaving before me, I can lock up the door. Don't worry. Oh, no, we haven't set a specific time either, so it's fine. As my back started hurting, I took breaks while cleaning the entrance. Suddenly, in an irritated manner, Haley shoved me out of the door. Then she threw my packed bags outside, saying, enough already. How long are you going to clean, you slowpoke? Just freeze out there in the garden, you useless idiot. I was only wearing light clothes after sweating from cleaning and being thrown out into the garden. I was cold, very cold. It had started snowing outside. Haley, open the door. I haven't changed yet. I'll freeze to death in these clothes. You're always so slow. That's your problem. Why don't you just K off? Since my coat was thrown out along with my luggage, I hurriedly put it on over my cold, sweaty t-shirt. The front door, and of course the back door, were locked, so I couldn't get back into the house from anywhere. I called out to Haley for a while, but getting no response, I gave up. Having no other choice, I decided to take the train to Anne's place. Somehow, I made it to Anne's house, but she was shocked to see me. "What happened to you? You're in a t-shirt. Come in. You'll catch a cold. Also, didn't you meet Sean? He was worried about you because it started snowing and went to pick you up by car. He said he'd send a text." That's when I realized I had left my smartphone at home. Sean is Anne's son, a high school student. It was unfortunate that we missed each other. I felt bad for him. After Anne contacted Sean to tell him I had come by train, he said, "I see, that's what happened," and came back. Then, we were told a shocking fact by Sean. I came home, but Grandma didn't come out, so I called her several times. But there was no answer. Then I heard the ringtone from inside the house, so I thought maybe you had fallen or something and entered the house. Sorry. Apparently, the front door was unlocked. I wonder if Haley forgot to lock it. I found Grandma's smartphone in the living room and thought, where's Grandma? Then I felt like someone was upstairs. Thinking it could be a burglar, I went up to check. Since the front door was unlocked, there's no wonder Sean thought there might be a burglar. Then, in the bedroom, I found Haley and some guy I didn't know in the bed together. What's going on? Wasn't Haley supposed to have gone back to her parents' house with Jason? I was so shocked. I froze for a moment. The two of them spotted me, wrapped themselves in duvets, and jumped off the balcony to escape. I thought, oh no, and after them, looking around the garden, but they were gone. They had escaped. You lost them? You shouldn't have let them get away. The ground was covered in shrubs and there was snow, so I don't think they got hurt. Anyway, I got tired of it and decided to lock the balcony door and head home. But then I heard a noise from the next room, so I peeked in and saw Jason. Jason was crouched behind Sean, trying to hide.
I'm sorry. My mom said I shouldn't leave the room until the holidays are over.
Jason was sitting surrounded by a pile of snacks, bread, and juice in the kids' room. I thought Jason would have more fun at our place, so I brought him here. Oh, and I locked the front door of your house with the key under the flower pot. Thank goodness you hadn't moved the spot since my childhood. Locking the door was a smart move. More importantly, Mom, we need to discuss what to do next, including Kevin. Sean said, "All right, Jason, let's go play some games," and cheerfully went to another room with Jason. At this point, Haley's affair seems trivial. Let the couple sort it out themselves. But what was done to Jason is unforgivable. It had gotten dark, so I decided to spend a relaxed evening with Anne and return home the next morning. The next morning, Anne, Sean, and I headed for my place. We left Anne's husband and Jason to house sit. When we arrived, there was someone in front of the entrance. It was Haley, wrapped in a duvet, barefoot, and shivering. Found you. Oh, you, how dare you lock me out? Haley was shivering from the cold, her teeth chattering. We quickly took her inside to warm up. She was trembling too much to speak at first. Once Haley calmed down, I started the conversation. I heard what happened from Sean. Who were you with upstairs? What are you talking about? Are you sure Sean saw a man? And what's with Sean entering people's houses without permission? Ring the doorbell, scumbag. My bad, my bad. There was a pair of men's shoes at the entrance, though. Were they Kevin's? Let me ask him. Oh, there was a break-in? I was just shocked and got into a scuffle. It was quite a fight. Well, that's terrible. We should call the police right away then. Anne pulls out her phone and starts dialing. Stop. Okay. I was having an affair. Are you happy now? So, who was the person? Haley looked down and didn't say anything. You jumped off the balcony together, right? Where did the man go? Where is he now? He's gone home hours ago. Believe it or not, Haley was abandoned by her lover. And despite him returning home, she spent the entire night wrapped in a blanket, barefoot. What? He just left you behind. Oh, that's so sad. What a tragedy. Sean's words have hit too close to home as Haley's face turned bright red. Besides, what were you planning to do with Jason? You weren't going to keep him locked in a room while your lover was at your place, were you? I don't care about your affair, but I can't forgive what you did to Jason. I agreed with her there. He's already in 4th grade. He can take care of himself. I might be his mother, but that doesn't mean I have to put him first in everything. I have my own life to live, and just because I have a child doesn't mean I can't have my own desires. This shocked me, and Sean and I were lost for words. filled with anger and disbelief. Kevin would be discharged from the hospital soon. We decided Jason and I temporarily live at Anne's place until then. And the day Kevin would be discharged came around. We decided to have a discussion at home but wanted to avoid having Jason present. I thought Haley might say something awful to him. We decided to have him play with Sean. I'm home. Oh, is Big Sis here too? What happened? Anne explained matter-of-factly. What, Haley, what does that mean? Is that true? Kevin was busy with work, and I felt lonely. It was just a moment of weakness. Please forgive me, Haley. I'm sorry. Then tell me, was it also a moment of weakness when you left Mom with only a t-shirt on out in the snow? Well, and was it a moment of weakness when you decided to lock Jason in the next room while you cheating? Kevin, Mom asked you to deal with the Friday night parties, didn't she? Why didn't you talk things through with Haley? Give me a break. Haley said she was stressed. I'm tired from work, so it was too much to handle. Imagine how I felt being constantly nagged about not wanting to live together with Mom. You two really are a perfect match. Always turning away from the problems in front of you, always taking the easy way out. Have you ever thought about the people around you? What you two decide to do from here on out is up to you. You're adults, after all, but think thoroughly about Jason. I won't allow you to ignore his needs. A few days later, they decided to file for divorce. Kevin ended up being awarded custody of Jason, and Haley was ordered to pay child support and alimony. Surprisingly, the divorce was settled smoothly as Haley admitted to all her faults. In the end, the identity of the affair partner remained a mystery. Haley never revealed his name, and Kevin, too, was too focused on starting a new life with Jason to press the matter. However, 3 months later, the affair came to light within the man's family, and it was revealed who he was. Turns out, he was also married, and what's more, he was the husband of a friend Haley had been close with. He was actually one of the men who had been over at the parties on Fridays. Why Haley agreed to the divorce so swiftly was to resolve the situation before anyone could dig deeper into the details, all because she had planned on continuing the relationship with the man even after splitting up with Kevin. I can't understand why she would stay with a man who left her freezing in the snow. Haley chose to be with him, paying alimony and child support. But in the end, the man chose to rebuild his marriage instead of getting divorced. She was sued for alimony by his wife and was demanded to move out of state. By the way, what has puzzled me ever since the incident was why the front door was unlocked that day. As it turns out, it was simply because the cheaters were caught up in the moment and forgot to lock the door. Had the door been locked, Sean might have rung the doorbell, and perhaps they could have covered it all up. I did tell Sean that, even if he thought the unlocked door might be a sign of robbery, he shouldn't have just barged in. He could have run into an intruder and have gotten attacked. But I was worried about you, Grandma. But reporting to the cops saying there might be a robbery would have been entertaining. Those two would have been shocked to be caught in an affair by the cops. I still have a lot to learn, I guess, he said. Though he jokes around, he brightens everyone's mood and cherishes Jason like his own little brother. Since Haley was well known in the area, the rumor of her affair with a friend's husband quickly spread like a wildfire. It must have been hard to live in the town, so she moved out. She seemed to have faced quite a bit of harassment from the group of moms before her move. Now, she's living a strained life, juggling child support for Jason and alimony for Kevin and her former friend, with no one around to help. She had claimed to be estranged from her parents, and that was actually true, apparently. She once called us begging.
I'm truly sorry. I'm lonely and suffering without anyone to rely on. Please, forgive me. Save me from this hell.
She said, we might have had some sympathy if she called about wanting to see her child or hear his voice, but begging to let herself go of the consequences of her actions. Her son was even bullied by the kids of her former friends for a while because of her behavior. Kevin managed to negotiate with the other parents, and the kids talked it out. Things are resolved now, but for Jason, the sudden absence of his mother and being bullied at school must have been devastating for him. I wanted to yell at her how much Jason suffered, but she would never get it at heart, so I held it back. All I said was, "Is that all you have to say? Never contact us again," before hanging up. Now, it's just Kevin, Jason, and me starting a new life together. There have been challenges, and surely there would be more to come, but we're determined to get through them together. Kyle has even cut back on his work hours to spend more time with Jason. and I'm grateful for all the support from Anne's family under this circumstance. Anne was the one who said many of the things that I should have said to Haley and Kevin. Sean has been taking great care of Jason, and the two have grown as close as brothers. I hope they continue to experience the kindness of those around them and grow up to be responsible young men. Being able to witness them grow up together makes me feel like the luckiest grandma on earth.